reached out, you know what I'm saying? Like Big Bro really like my mentor, tell me what I should do in situations. He just really showed me the way.
When Yo Gotti's big brother, Big Juke, got gunned down outside that Memphis funeral back in January 2024, the whole city froze in disbelief. The whispers started flying instantly, people pointing at Young's crew, saying it was revenge. But then, the story twisted, with shocking rumors dragging Moneybagg Yo right into the middle of it. Could CMG's biggest star have turned on his own family? What really went down that day? Let's break it all down. The morning it happened, cold, gray, and heavy, Memphis lost the real one. The news hit the block like lightning, and the whole hip-hop world started buzzing. Memphis, Tennessee, a city already drenched in pain and losses from the rap game, just got hit with another blow that left everybody stunned and speechless.
Well, you know, he labeled himself as the king of Memphis, and we both from Memphis. I just took over the city of Memphis, came through with that new wave, new sauce.
Anthony Big Juke Mims, the OG, the right-hand man, and the older brother of Memphis legend Yo Gotti, was taken out in what cops later called a targeted assassination. This wasn't no random drive-by, no wrong place, wrong time type of deal. This was a setup, clean and calculated, a professional hit that shook every hood from North Memphis to South, with people asking questions that still ain't got real answers. Now let's really talk about who Big Juke was, because this man wasn't just Yo Gotti's brother. He was the silent boss moving things behind the curtain. He was one of the key power players in Collective Music Group, CMG, the label that practically runs the Memphis sound right now. He was the connector, the one scouting talent, signing artists, and making sure CMG stayed on top of the food chain. He played a major part in putting artists like Moneybagg Yo, Black Youngster, and Glorilla in position to win big. These are the faces taking over the charts right now, and Big Juke had his fingerprints all over their rise. He didn't crave the spotlight like his brother Gotti.
And I was in Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? I was in Atlanta like the whole week doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Back and forth to Atlanta to Memphis.
Nah, he was the one behind the scenes, calling the plays, cutting the deals, and moving like a real boss in silence. Now fast forward to Saturday, January 13th, 2024. Big Juke pulled up to what should have been a peaceful gathering, a funeral repast for a man named Eric E. Allen, held at Paragon Restaurant and Event Center. It was supposed to be about unity and respect, people coming together to show love to the community. But somebody had darker plans. What went down next flipped that quiet moment into straight chaos, the kind of chaos that had the feds and Memphis PD swarming the scene in minutes. According to word on the street and what the police later confirmed, gunfire suddenly exploded outside the venue. Multiple shots. The shooters didn't just stumble in by mistake. Nah, this was a planned hit. Law enforcement made it crystal clear from the very start.
And that's when you could really make your best work, right? It's like, I always feel like, it's never, sometimes it is, but a lot of times it's not that first tape you putting out when you like shifting all your money towards it. It's like when you got that complete access to the studio. Like, yo, I could pull up, I could stay there for as long as I want to, and like really, you know what I'm saying? I don't gotta worry about going to work tomorrow. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This is my job, you know what I'm saying? So like,
this was intentional. The shooters came with a mission, rolled up bold in broad daylight, and didn't care who was watching. That kind of move takes guts and precision. These weren't rookies out there wilding. This was professional, cold, and deliberate. Witnesses said Big Juke got hit multiple times, the bullets tearing through as chaos broke loose everywhere. People scattered, screaming, ducking for cover. The kind of scene that stays burned into your mind forever. Memphis hasn't been the same since that day. The energy, the fear, the silence that followed, it all said one thing loud and clear: this wasn't over. One of Big Juke's people who was with him that day also got hit, but somehow made it out alive. He was fighting for his life in critical condition, but for Big Juke, there was no coming back. They rushed him to the hospital, but the damage was way too deep. Anthony Big Juke Mims, was pronounced dead, leaving his family, CMG, the Memphis community, and the whole hip-hop world broken in grief. But here's where things start getting real messy and frustrating for anyone hoping for justice. The Memphis Police Department released surveillance shots of what they said was the getaway vehicle, a white Ford Explorer. Multiple witnesses swore they saw that same white truck speeding off from Paragon right after the shots were fired.
It is set in your head, like.
And I feel like you could hear that in the latest joint where it's like, this is 100% like what I want to do, how I'm doing it.
Yeah, this is how I'm giving it to you all the way raw, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna feel like, you know what I'm saying?
So let's talk about that Heartless a little more. So
the police blasted those images out to the public, hoping somebody would recognize the ride or drop a tip that could help track down the shooters. But here's the major problem. The car in those pictures didn't have a visible license plate, no unique markings, nothing that could help trace it. It was like it vanished into thin air, leaving investigators with no real way to hunt it down through normal channels. And now here's the part that's got everyone shaking their heads. As of August 2025, more than a year and a half after Big Juke was murdered in cold blood, not a single suspect has been publicly named. No arrests, no charges, not even one person brought in for questioning that the public knows about. The officials keep calling the case ongoing, but to anyone watching, it looks completely stuck, like the whole thing's just spinning in neutral. The MPD kept begging the community for help, telling people to hit up Crime Stoppers at 901-528-CASH if they knew anything, promising full anonymity. But the streets, silent. Nobody talking, nobody stepping forward. And now here we are in early 2026 with the case colder than ever. No updates, no progress, no justice. Just another name added to the long, heartbreaking list of unsolved murders haunting the Memphis rap scene. When cops don't have answers, you know what happens next. The streets start making their own. That silence turns into a loud mess of rumors, theories, and wild gossip. And with social media running the show these days, that vacuum got filled fast. The internet went crazy after Big Juke got killed. YouTube, Twitter, now X, and Instagram were flooded with wild claims and clickbait investigations.
you said that you lost friendships and relationships just being on the road. You know what I'm saying? Being gone.
Nah, just not being on the road, like, you don't understand, like, the situation with Yo Gotti. Like, we don't even supposed to be doing it. Like, and I'm finna break it down to you.
Yeah.
Like, in Memphis, right? It's two, like more than two sides, but he from North Memphis, you know what I'm saying, north side of Memphis. I'm from South Memphis. It's a hood in South Memphis. Walking home, we don't get along, period, with that side, you know what I'm saying, with his side.
Every channel had a new exclusive, spinning theories about who did it, why it happened, and who was next to get picked up. Some of those takes had tiny bits of truth, touching on long-standing beefs in Memphis rap, but most of it, pure fantasy. People just chasing views, not facts. To really understand why Big Juke's death became such a wildfire of rumors, you gotta look at the bigger picture. This wasn't random. Memphis had been boiling for years. The city's rap scene had gone from storytelling and street authenticity to real-life street warfare. Since 2021, more than a dozen violent incidents were tied to rap beef. This wasn't about lyrics anymore. This was about survival. And at the center of it all was the legendary rivalry between Yo Gotti's CMG and Young Dolph's Paper Route empire. This wasn't just a competition over hits or fame. This was deep, personal, and dangerous. A feud that had already taken lives and torn the city's music scene apart. Young Dolph, born Adolph Thornton Jr., built his legacy by doing everything his own way. He refused to sign major deals, staying independent and stacking money through Paper Route empire.
You know what I'm saying, they, you know what I'm saying, bump heads all the time. You know what I'm saying, just by me doing that deal, that situation and seeing a bigger vision, they didn't understand that. You know what I'm saying, they ain't understand like the opportunity, you know what I'm saying, like, it is like, bigger for you to make millions, like, it's bigger than this shit, bro. Yeah. Like, cut this shit out, like, nobody didn't get killed over this shit anyway, like, leave it alone. Right. You know what I'm saying, like, let's keep going.
He became a symbol of self-made success, proof that you didn't have to bow down to anyone. But on November 17th, 2021, tragedy hit. Dolph was gunned down in broad daylight while just buying cookies at Makeda's homemade butter cookies in Memphis. Surveillance cameras captured two armed men running into the shop, firing multiple shots. ending the life of one of the city's most respected artists. It sent shockwaves not just in Memphis, but through the whole hip-hop world. Years later, the trials for Dolph's murder started revealing shocking connections that looped right back to Big Juke. During testimony in 2024 and 2025, prosecutors and witnesses, including one of the alleged shooters, Cornelius Smith, claimed under oath that Juke allegedly put a $100,000 bounty on young Dolph's head. This wasn't internet gossip. This was sworn courtroom testimony with real legal consequences for lying. According to what came out in court, Juke allegedly used a middleman named Hernandez Govin to help coordinate the hit, and money supposedly changed hands for earlier attempts on Dolph's people, including one known as Paper Route Wu. Prosecutors even brought out phone records showing communication between the involved parties around the time of the murder, painting a dark picture of what might have been really going on.
So they almost looking like, yo, you with the ops. Nah,
yeah,
man.
that's exactly. Other side over there.
Like my
cool.
nigga, like I got a chance to make $1 million,
it's
bro.
cool.
Like,
You gonna look at me like that? Cool. You wanna know my anyway.
In that courtroom, they portrayed Big Juke as a major player in the long-running CMG versus PRE war, someone who might have taken it from rap beef to real-life bloodshed. But here's what makes things even crazier. Big Juke was never questioned by Memphis police about any of these allegations before his own death. He was reportedly considered a suspect in Dolph's murder, but he was taken out before investigators could even bring him in. Now think about that timing for a second. Big Juke's name gets publicly dropped in court as being tied to a murder-for-hire plot, and just a few months later, he gets gunned down execution style. That's not coincidence, that's chaos. And once those details hit the internet, things exploded. Social media went wild and people couldn't stop talking. Within hours of Big Juke's death being confirmed, his name was trending everywhere, and one name kept popping up over and over again: Moneybagg Yo. Theories spread like wildfire, with fans and bloggers spinning wild stories about betrayal, revenge, and payback. The digital streets were on fire. Let's keep it all the way real about Moneybagg Yo, because understanding his place in all this is crucial. Demario Dwayne White Jr., better known as Moneybagg Yo, ain't just some random rapper out of Memphis. He's one of the biggest names the city's ever produced. Signed by Yo Gotti back in 2016, Moneybagg had already built a strong name for himself in the streets before CMG came knocking. His gritty storytelling and sharp flow had Memphis riding for him long before the fame hit.
Importantly, how did you want it to be different from before?
Like every time I drop a tape, I always feel if it's like my music should elevate. They should see differences. Like every time I drop, they need to see different. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just feel like when I go in with this tape, I had that mentality, like this still that hunger that I had when I first dropped Federal. You know what I'm saying? I gave them extra sauce on it. You know what I'm saying? I put the extra, you know what I'm saying? The extra bag sauce.
But once he linked with Yo Gotti and joined collective music group CMG, everything changed. His career exploded. Tracks like Said Some and Wakashay were playing in every whip, every club, every corner of the country. Moneybagg Yo quickly became one of CMG's top dogs, not just a hitmaker, but a full-blown superstar representing the brand. He and Yo Gotti even dropped a joint mixtape, Too Federal, a project that showed their chemistry and cemented them as a serious force in the game. Behind the scenes, Moneybagg was seen as a loyal soldier, someone who respected the CMG family code. He had tight relationships with both Yo Gotti and Big Juke, often showing gratitude for the way they guided him and helped him level up. So when Big Juke got killed, Moneybagg mourned hard like the rest of the CMG crew. He posted tributes, spoke on loyalty, and showed nothing but love. But while he was grieving, the internet started spinning a different story, one that got messy fast. Within hours, YouTube and Twitter were full of videos with wild clickbait titles like Moneybagg Yo indicted for Yo Gotti's brother's murder, or Moneybagg Yo arrested in connection to Big Juke's death. It didn't stop there. Some channels even claimed he helped set Big Juke up. They pushed crazy narratives, saying he was tied to the getaway car or that there was some snake business inside CMG. And these weren't just tiny accounts doing it for fun. Some of these videos racked up hundreds of thousands of views, spreading those allegations to massive audiences. The comment sections went off the rails, with fans building wild theories about motives, betrayal, and revenge, treating the rumors like straight-up facts. Social media turned into an echo chamber. Once a rumor started, it bounced around non-stop. Group chats, comment threads, reaction videos, it all blew up. By the time people realized how fast it spread, half the internet already believed something that never even happened. Because here's the truth. If you look at official police reports, court filings, or any statement from the Memphis PD or credible media like the Commercial Appeal, there's zero evidence linking Moneybagg Yo to Big Juke's death. No arrest, no indictment, not even a mention of him being questioned. Law enforcement hasn't connected him to that case in any way, period. So how did his name even end up tangled in this chaos? It comes down to how street politics in Memphis mix with the rap game. A line so thin it's easy for outsiders to blur it. And this is something Moneybagg Yo has actually talked about openly in interviews, breaking down the deep-rooted divisions across North and South Memphis. See, Yo Gotti is from North Memphis, while Moneybagg Yo grew up in South Memphis, specifically the Walker Homes area. Those two sides of the city have had serious tension for years. Territorial lines, neighborhood beefs, and long-standing rivalries that go back decades.
So Yo Gotti with Big Juke went on live, basically clowning Young Dolph, man, and basically telling if you don't want your bag, come sign the CMG. Nah, y'all collected souls or whatever. I ain't with it. No, bro. But this shit is sad.
So when Moneybagg decided to sign with Yo Gotti CMG, it wasn't just a career move. It was seen by some people in his own neighborhood as a betrayal. Folks who once called him Day One started side-eyeing him, calling it switching sides, and saying he linked up with the opposition. He lost real friendships over that deal. People he grew up with turned distant, but as Moneybagg explained in one interview, he saw the bigger picture. He wanted success, not street drama. He said he chose to elevate, to chase money, peace, and legacy instead of getting trapped in cycles that never led anywhere. He wanted a better life, not endless beefs that could end in tragedy. And to his credit, Moneybagg Yo's loyalty to Yo Gotti and CMG has never been in question. He's always spoken about how Gotti mentored him, gave him game, and helped him dodge situations that could have destroyed his career or worse. When you break it all down, there's no credible proof of any tension between Moneybagg Yo and Big Juke. No argument, no dispute, nothing. There's no motive that makes sense, no evidence tying him to anything shady. The streets talk, sure, but the paperwork doesn't lie. And yet, the rumors just kept multiplying. Every time there's a Memphis rapper got in trouble, people tried to connect it to Big Juke's case, even when it made no sense. Take the situation with Memphis rapper B.E.O. Lil Kenny, also known as Kenny G. In late 2025, he got arrested after a wild police chase. He ran, drove reckless, hid in some bushes before being caught. He got charged with evading arrest, reckless driving, and possession of a controlled substance. Serious stuff, but completely unrelated to Big Juke's murder. Still, people online tried to twist that into part of the same story, just like they did with fake videos claiming Yo Gotti reacted to his brother's killer being arrested. But those clips were ripped from totally different situations. No arrests have been confirmed, no killers caught, no justice served, and definitely no connection to Moneybagg Yo. When you look at the pattern, it's clear. Every time there's silence from the authorities, the internet fills the gap with noise. And that noise turns into facts for people who don't check sources. What we're really seeing here is how fast misinformation spreads when the streets stay quiet and official answers never come. The truth gets buried while the cap keeps going viral. Fake info spreads faster than wildfire, especially when the truth is nowhere to be found. When you've got a high-profile murder shaking up the hip-hop world, especially in a city like Memphis, where history and street politics run deep, there's never a shortage of people ready to twist the story for views, clout, or cash. But what really went down out here? Now that we've cleared up what's cap and what's facts, it's time to dig into the real story, the one backed by actual evidence, credible sources, and courtroom testimony. Because while the internet made wild claims about Moneybagg Yo getting locked up, the real truth behind Big Juke's murder and the ongoing Memphis rap war runs much deeper and darker than any clickbait headline could ever capture. The most convincing theory about who took out Big Juke and why actually comes from evidence presented during the Young Dolph murder trials. During those court sessions, multiple witnesses and prosecutors alleged that Big Juke had put a $100,000 bounty on Young Dolph's head, a move that allegedly set off the deadly chain of events that took Dolph's life. And this wasn't just street gossip or somebody said. This was sworn testimony under oath, backed by phone records, witness statements, and court documents. One of the accused shooters, Cornelius Smith, even testified that he had received money from Big Juke for earlier failed hits, including one on a PRE member known as Paper Route Woo. The story painted Big Juke as the mastermind, working behind the curtain, allegedly using middlemen like Hernandez Govin to handle business, keeping his own hands clean while street soldiers handled the dirty work. But here's where it gets wild. In August 2025, Hernandez Govin was acquitted of organizing Young Dolph's murder. Still, all that explosive testimony about Big Juke's alleged role stayed in the public record. Court documents, transcripts, everything.
Man, hey y'all, I'm finna start a GoFundMe, man, cause I know a lot of you rap up out here. Can't do no shows, ain't save no money. So guess what? I'm gonna come say today. I'm gonna come pay you rent if y'all got somewhere to stay.
Now look at the timeline. Big Juke was murdered in January 2024, right as those court revelations were hitting the streets. His name was being thrown around heavy in connection to Young Dolph's death, and before the police could even question him, he ended up dead. The timing had everybody talking, and for good reason. The strongest and most widely discussed theory, retaliation. That Big Juke's killing was payback, revenge from Young Dolph's circle, his family or affiliates, for his alleged role in orchestrating Dolph's murder. This theory lines up perfectly. The motive, the timing, the method, everything fits. And when you look at the pattern of revenge hits and street retaliation that's haunted Memphis for years, it's sadly not hard to believe this was another chapter in that same cycle. Still, even though that revenge theory makes the most sense and has the most evidence behind it, we gotta keep it real. It's not proven in court. The Memphis Police Department hasn't confirmed any motive, hasn't named any suspects, and hasn't made a single arrest connected to Big Juke's case. Officially, it remains unsolved. No trial, no charges, no closure. And until that legal process plays out, we can't say for certain what really happened or who was responsible for taking Big Juke's life. There are other theories floating around too, though none as solid as the retaliation one. Some say maybe Big Juke's death had nothing to do with rap beef at all, that it could have been unrelated street business or a personal dispute gone wrong. Memphis, unfortunately, has long struggled with high rates of gun violence, and targeted shootings can happen for reasons far removed from the industry drama. But when you factor in Big Juke's high profile, his power within CMG, and the timing of his murder right after all those Young Dolph revelations, that random violence angle doesn't convince too many people who actually know the streets. Now, to understand the difference between real history and rumor, let's look at Moneybagg Yo's actual record with law enforcement, because people love to twist this stuff online. The biggest documented incident tied to him happened back on March 13, 2016. Deputies from Tipton County Sheriff's Office raided his CD release party at the old Maserati Club in Mason, Tennessee. The goal that night was to crack down on violent activity, parole violations, and gang presence, and the scene turned into a full-blown bust. Authorities arrested 28 people total, including Moneybagg Yo, on gun and drug-related charges. Police said they seized 10 loaded weapons, handguns, a .223 rifle, and even a 9mm submachine gun, plus cash, narcotics, and a bulletproof vest. They claimed members from multiple gangs, vice lords, gangster disciples, Bloods, and Crips were spotted at the event. But here's the thing, Moneybagg Yo bonded out quick and even posted photos on Facebook afterward, smiling and celebrating like it was just another day. The charges didn't seem to stick because no major court records or outcomes ever surfaced. It looks like that situation either got dropped or resolved quietly before his career really took off under CMG. For an artist coming from that kind of environment, incidents like that aren't unusual. It's part of the reality for rappers with one foot in the streets and the other in the industry. Then, in August 2017, another scary moment. Moneybagg Yo was riding in a black Sprinter van headed to a performance in Newark, New Jersey, when somebody started shooting at the van at a turnpike rest stop. 2 people inside got hit and had to be treated for their wounds, but Moneybagg Yo came out untouched, blessed to walk away alive. Police questioned him at the scene, but he wasn't arrested or charged. No suspects were ever found, making it look like he was the target, not the aggressor. Fast forward to January 2026, and the drama continues. Rapper Finesse 2 times goes public accusing Moneybagg Yo of snitching and tipping off cops, saying that's what led to his own drug bust in Texas. But like most online allegations, there's zero evidence backing that claim. No charges, no proof, no paperwork, just talk. And that's the pattern. Wild accusations, no receipts. Every time Moneybagg Yo's name trends, people twist old stories or invent new ones to fit the latest conspiracy. To really see the full picture of how deep this goes, we gotta compare his record to that of Yo Gotti, because the headlines paint one story, but the reality behind these 2 Memphis heavyweights tells another. Yo Gotti, born and raised in the tough Ridgecrest housing projects of Memphis, has never hidden where he came from. He's been open about his street roots, talking about early run-ins with the law involving assault and weapons charges from back in the day. But the case that really made headlines came on November 29, 2010, outside Level 2 nightclub in Memphis, and it showed just how fast street drama could turn explosive. That night, things popped off when Gotti got into a heated argument with another Memphis rapper, OG Boo Dirty. What started as words quickly turned into an all-out brawl and a wild shooting that left 6 people wounded. Shots hit victims in the wrist, shoulder, ankle, and even the backside. Memphis police wasted no time. Gotti was hit with a warrant for aggravated riot, while OG Boo Dirty faced similar charges, including inciting a riot.
Gotti brother, Big Juke, went on live, basically clowning Young Dolph, man, and basically telling, if you don't want to your bag, come sign the CMG. Nah, y'all collecting souls or whatever. I ain't with it. No, bro. But this is sad, man.
Several others got caught up in the mess, but Yo Gotti didn't run. He turned himself in like a man. By January 2011, all charges against him were dropped. The case got dismissed and Gotti walked away clean. Another example of how he always seems to move smart in the middle of chaos. This moment says a lot about who Gotti is, someone who's been close to danger but learned how to maneuver through it. Over the years, he's balanced street credibility with legitimate success, turning Collective Music Group, CMG, into a powerhouse label while keeping his business tight. But the streets never stop watching. In 2017, one of his close associates, Corey McClendon, got arrested and charged with attempted murder after Young Dolph was shot outside a Los Angeles hotel. Gotti wasn't charged in that case, but it fueled more speculation and tension around the CMG versus Paper Route Empire rivalry that had already turned deadly. For years, rumors, diss tracks, and whispers about bounties and street paybacks have kept this feud alive. But here's the truth. Yo Gotti has never been arrested or charged in connection with Young Dolph's murder or any related violence. His public record shows cleared cases and a solid shift from the street grind to business dominance. The man built an empire, real talk. Now, when it comes to Big Juke, it's a whole different story. Surprisingly, before his name came up in connection with the Young Dolph case, there weren't any major public records or criminal charges linked to him. Big Juke was known as a behind-the-scenes boss, not a trigger man, an executive, talent scout, and promoter who helped CMG expand its reach. He wasn't chasing fame, he was building the foundation that others stood on. His only serious connection to law enforcement came through courtroom testimony during the Dolph murder trials, where witnesses claimed he was involved in organizing the hit. But remember, he was never formally charged or questioned before his death. That whole investigation ended the day he was killed. On top of that, federal eyes have been on CMG and affiliated entities for years. Authorities have seized assets, including a $428,000 Bentley, reportedly linked to ongoing probes connected to the Young Dolph case and other street investigations. but none of it has led to direct charges or arrests tied to Big Juke's murder. No closure, no justice, just more confusion and pain. Meanwhile, Yo Gotti has stayed mostly silent about his brother's death. He's focused on expanding his businesses, running his restaurant Priv in Memphis, and growing his investments in music, real estate, and beyond. That silence speaks volumes. When you really think about it, what can he even say? If the retaliation theory is true, that Big Juke was killed as payback for young Dolph's death, then it's a tragedy with no real winners. It's a vicious cycle. Violence breeding more violence, loss after loss. Families mourning while the streets keep score. In Memphis, these feuds don't just end, they echo through generations. At the end of the day, all these lives, Dolph, Big Juke's camp, Paper Route Empire, they're all part of the same city, the same struggle. What started as rap competition turned into real-life warfare, leaving behind nothing but pain, broken families, and a city searching for peace. The truth is, nobody wins in this. Not the artists, not the fans, not the city that raised them. Just more graves, more grief, and more questions that may never get answers. If you made it this far, you already know this story runs deeper than headlines and hashtags. So hit like, subscribe, and share this video. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's talk about what really needs to change in Memphis and hip-hop today.